All right. Welcome, welcome. Hi, Rebel Writers. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are out there in the world. We are here today with another installment of our Rebel Writers in Action series. And I'm so excited to have these conversations, all you beautiful people doing amazing work out in the world. And one of them is my guest, Julie, today. Julie Aird is an inspirational speaker, an ICF-credentialed coach, a spiritual director, and the founder of Julie Aird Life Coaching. She is also the host of the Heart-Led Living podcast. Driven by her own journey of finding fulfillment within, right? The journey that we are all on here. Julie works with highly sensitive women who have pursued happiness in their career, relationships, and family, but are not feeling satisfied. Through powerful, energetic, and heart-led practices, inner child work, and mindset coaching, Julie's clients experience a profound awakening to abiding a sense of peace and fulfillment within. Welcome, Julie. We're so glad you could join us all the way from California. Welcome, welcome.
Yeah, it's early for me, but I got up for you, girl.
Thank you. Thank you for getting out of bed early.
I
Looking
did.
all amazing.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm really, really glad to be here. Oh my gosh. I love this. The writing group. Woo!
Woo.
Rebel Writers.
Yes, Rebel Writers. We're here. We're doing it. I'm just going to make sure we're live on my phone. There we are. Great. There. Let us know out there in the Facebook land, in the comments. Let us know you're there. Let us know what is landing as Julie and I talk about her brand new book that just came out. Oh, look, she's got it right there. Right there.
Yep.
So this has been, I mean, let's just dive right in because this has been quite an experience for you. So how did you, so Divinity Speaks, you know, how did you get on this path? How did this all sort of come about? What's your journey been like?
Oh my gosh, it's just been so amazing. The book launched last Thursday, Divinity Speaks, Women Who Tune In and Trust Divine Inspiration. And that's what I was doing when I got the invitation to do this. So how perfect is that? And then when I was writing, I had to get out of my head because I was like, oh yeah, the title of the book is Women Who Tune In and Trust Divine Inspiration. So even in the writing process, I got to practice what the book was about. So that was actually a perfect thing for me. So this is my first experience as a published author. And I did it. I'm so glad I did it this way. It's actually a collaboration of 25 other women, and it's their stories about how they hear divinity speaking in their life, right? And so we all have our own journey. We all have our own experience of how God, source, the universe, the divine, whatever word you choose to call it, speaks to us. How do we hear it? How do we tune in? And I was invited actually I was in this women's circle a few months back. We were like on the last week and we did this guided meditation where we went within and met our inner wise woman. And she gave me a gift, and it was a pencil. And it was like, okay, I'm supposed to write. Now, I've had this calling before. This isn't the first time. In fact, I think
we talked about this.
Yeah, we talked about this over a year ago. So, not the first time I got this, but I had gone through I went through like a really transformational, deep healing time in 2021. And I felt like at the beginning of this 2022, I felt like the book opportunity or the writing, the call to writing was really about kind of helping me integrate everything I had learned, you know? So anyway, once I received the pencil, I mean, I have to say first, I was like kind of resistant because I've always been a speaker. It's easy for me to talk, and I don't consider myself a writer. Okay. But guess what? Now that I'm doing it, because this has given me confidence to start doing more writing, which is so cool. I'm loving writing. It is so great.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
And so, it's, and here I am, mid-50s, and like, I always thought, I'm not a writer. I'm not a writer. And it's like, what? When I got the pencil gift, I was like, But then within days, this woman that was in that circle with me heard that. And she says, I'm going to be writing for this book called Divinity Speaks. And there's like 25 authors, and there's most of the slots are filled, but there's still a few slots left, and you could apply. And I was like, when I heard the title, I was like, well, Divinity Speaks, Women Who Tune In and Trust Divine Inspiration. I'm like, that's what I've been doing my whole life. So, and that's what I was doing when I, got the pencil.
Right.
And then the cover of the book was purple, Renee, which is my favorite color. So I was like, I knew I loved you, back on my phone. Anyway.
Yeah.
So that was it. It was like, and I feel like the divine made it so easy for me. Okay. Because there was a financial investment, but I would have had to pay that for an editor or something, or a publisher or something.
Yeah,
and it was like, it made it so easy because our publisher has supported like all the marketing, and we've learned how to use the book to grow our business, and all the media images and just stuff to put in your emails. Yeah. It's been so much support. So literally, like, all I had to do was write the chapter, and it was awesome having, like, just 1 month to write it. It was like 3,000 words. It was like 1 month. I'm like, okay, that's the other thing about committing to a project like this, is like, gosh, trying to do it on your own, give yourself your own deadlines and all that. It's like, forget about it. You know what I mean? But I had to be accountable to somebody else. And it was like, it moved so fast. So it was like within months. And last week it came out and it went to #1 bestseller in 5 categories on Amazon in the first day.
Oh my gosh, congratulations.
Can you believe it? In like like inspirational personal testimonies, spiritual growth, metaphysics.
Oh, beautiful.
Humanistic psychology, like 5 different categories. And anyway, it's been amazing. I have to say, you don't even need to ask me questions, Renee, because I just, is that okay? Jump in anytime if you're like,
I know. Well, I do.
Sorry.
I want to hear what you have to say. What was next? But what I absolutely love is you have already like pointed to so many of the pieces that everybody here in the Rebel Writers group can totally align with. The reason we're rebels is because we don't, necessarily do things in the the way we're supposed to, or we're not the writers that we consider ourselves. You spoke to that piece about how, you didn't necessarily consider yourself a writer. And yet, like, when the call came, it was because you tapped in, right? Because you got quiet, because you listened, you were far more able to produce the words, right? And, channel it through you. And one of the things, we had our live training last week. And one of the things that, I speak about frequently is that alignment between the head and the heart. And there's a different purpose for the work. Your chapter would not have been written if you were not so deeply connected in and doing the listening work and telling the mind to like take a back seat. Right?
Yes. Well, and that's my chapter. Like, my chapter is called The Richness of Life When You Listen to Your Heart. So I talk in my chapter all about head and heart, and it's really tuning into your heart. Tuning into my heart is what has brought the most fulfillment in my life. And when I was writing, I had so many stories of times when I've listened to my heart and like, it's worked for me, Right. I was listening to my head, then I was like, oh, I'm going to listen to my heart. I made that choice. I stepped in, said yes to what my heart was saying. It worked out amazing. And I have a lot of stories from experiences of that. But even while I was writing, I was like, okay, God, what's the stories that you want to come through? So I'm trusting that there's what I shared in here is really what I was supposed to share. And so it really was a beautiful process. I'm so grateful for the title because it kept bringing me back to, okay, I got a lot I could share, or even my head getting into it, like, I gotta do this. I gotta do this. And it was like, nope, just listen. And, and does that resonate? Is that what I'm supposed to do? Yep. Is that what I'm supposed to do? Nope. I mean, and it made the writing process really easy.
Oh, that's so
The
neat.
writing process was the easiest part, actually, Renee. Isn't that funny? I'm telling you what the biggest challenge of this whole thing has been the visibility around having it out there.
Yes. Yes. I would love to speak to that actually, because I know that there's a lot of us here who really kind of struggle with that self-doubt or some imposter syndrome, or like, or just the vulnerability of, well, this is my story. And once I put it out there, you lose some sense of control over it, or like,
100%.
yeah.
100%. And, I've been, like I said, a speaker for a long time, and I've shared a lot about myself, and I've been vulnerable in lives and stuff like that. But there's something about having that imprint out there. I don't know. It's just like an extra level of expansion and extra, like the next level of visibility. And it's like, holy moly. And I know you talk with your group about that stuff, because it's funny. It's like, these are the things that hold us back from writing. It's not that we can't write. It's not that we can't tap in. It's not that we all are gifted with creativity, and many of us can do this. This is not like I'm so special that I did this. I'm just saying, like, you guys can do this. Well, thank you. I think the thing that makes me special is just that I said yes, and then I followed through. But I said, I had support this time, a lot of support. I didn't have to do it by myself. That's so important. So hire Renee, get in some group, or get in some, collaboration like this, because now it's like, how that is, like, once you do it, then it's like, oh, it gives me a little more confidence. Yeah. Now I can, because actually before this came out, I had already written another article and it got published. Because part of what I've learned over the last year in my transformational cocoon time was that I'm a highly sensitive person. So I'm really getting connected to highly sensitive communities. And I wrote an article for how I survived a theme park vacation with all roller coasters, which is highly stimulating. So that's a separate thing. But I think that this is giving me the confidence now that, oh, I can do this, And so then the next piece was, like I said, the most challenging piece is just like the visibility and learning. Again, I've got this support of people that are going, yep. It's like a couple days after. So the few days before the launch, I was like, I couldn't sleep. I was so, wound up. The day of, I'm glad our publisher encouraged us to like really celebrate, because I had a Zoom call with my besties, my 3 best friends, and I sent them all a signed copy of this. And I had like all these like fun party, like favor, confetti things in the box, and I sent it to them, and they're in different parts of the country, and we all opened it together on the call, so it's like, you can't open it until the call. So it was like, I created my own virtual party, and my husband and my son took me out to dinner. We had fun. And so the day of was super fun. The day after was more things. But then by Saturday, oh my God, I totally crashed. And I was like weepy and like headache. And my co-author buddies were like, that vulnerability hangover, that's like a thing. That's like a real thing, but I made it through that. I was like, I think just knowing, okay, this is normal. This is a part of it, and look at me today. I'm back. I'm good. You're
good.
You're
re-energized.
But so it's definitely a roller coaster, but so worth it. Oh my goodness. Like,
I love it. And you said something really, really important. You said, all I did was said yes and followed through. And that's the piece, you know, when you commit to something and doing the steps, even though it's scary, even though, you know, it might not work out the way you want it to, even though, you know, the list could go on and on. That's the way it gets done. That's the way we expand. That's the way we grow, is doing these experiences, even as they are.
Yeah. And it's really the only way. It's the only way to grow, is to step out of our comfort zone. I mean, this is the way it goes. And there's no getting beyond that, because if we don't step out of our comfort zone, we won't grow. We won't get any bigger. It's really made me like feel for people that are like really famous, you know, that I mean, this is like such a tiny thing compared to like, you know, people that like get famous at a young age, or like all of this kind of stuff. And it's like, no wonder they have a hard time with it, like that much visibility, you know what I mean? But there's support for that too, you know, there's support for that too. And it's totally doable. It's totally doable. Yeah.
I love it.
So,
I love it. Well, Julie, you are so inspiring. We do have a couple people here watching here live, so I want to make sure we say hello to them.
yes.
And certainly ask your questions. I'll keep my eyes here on the comments. Yes. Good morning, Miri. Hi, Elaine. Hi, Cotton. Hi, Sharmi. So many beautiful people here who definitely have stories to tell. Right. And we all do. I mean, that's the beauty of story and experience, is that, you know, this is a human experience. This is the thing that connects us all, that we have, you know, our messages come through in our life experience, in the way that we, you know, move through the world, and how we learn in our relationships and our work and all those things. And everybody's got a message to share. And yeah. I just love yours. I love this book, Divinity Speaks. We'll make sure to put the link to in the
beautiful. And it's 25 other women that are just like all of us, ladies. Exactly what you just said, Renee. We all have our own journey. We all have our own story. And it's beautiful to hear how these women experience, you know, the divinity speaking in their life and guiding them, you know. They're women just like us, you know. So and the other cool thing about the book, which I think makes it easy to sell, is that all the proceeds are going to Ilamu Girls, which is a charity in Kenya for young women who are, you know, they live in the more primitive villages, that they're going to be a child bride when they're young. Many of them have experienced female genital mutilation. I mean, and the charity Ilamu Girls is a 2-year vocational program for these women to learn a sewing business. They get a sewing machine, and it's like, it changes their life and changes it. It's so empowering. So so buy the book, because it's 99 cents on Kindle. You know, that's not a big investment. And the paperback, I think, is $14.99. So you're supporting a charity too, you know, so it's like such a win-win.
I love that.
So I'm thrilled to be a part of it. Feel so honored, feel so grateful. And you know, if anybody wants to reach out to me and talk to me more about the book or the coaching that I do, finding fulfillment within, you didn't ask me this yet, but I'm just going to share, because I know you're going to ask me, how can people contact me?
How can we find you?
Renee, I've been doing some interviews with the other co-authors. I've been interviewing the other authors. So I'm like, who's the interviewer? Sorry.
It's beautiful.
julieaird.com, JULIEAIRD.com. You can find out about the work I'm doing there, and you can book a call if you want to just chat with me about the writing experience, being highly sensitive, what it's like to experience fulfillment within, any of those things.
All those.
Love to chat with anybody in your community that I can encourage and inspire. Renee, did you have any more questions? As I'm leading the interview? I told you I was a speaker.
I know. You are a pro. No, I don't have any questions. I just want to say, like, Julie, I am totally inspired. And I know many of us here in the group are. And in fact, I may have a project that's coming out also soon, that your writing, your experience, and has been inspirational
Oh,
for me. And I just love that you really are, walking the walk, talking the talk, right? Divinity does speak. And when we listen, when we truly listen and we follow our hearts, beautiful things happen. So
yes.
thank you for being that light.
Oh, thank you. It just blesses me to know. So I'm curious about that project, but I'm just excited and grateful that I could inspire you too. So sending you so much love, and to your group and all these beautiful writers here. Just, support each other. Women, we, gosh, we're so powerful when we join together. Come on.
Yeah. Right. Let's do this.
You know it.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Julie. And if you are watching the replay, please let us know, #replay, and tag us in your comments. We will get Julie's information about where you can find her and where you can buy her newest book, Divinity Speaks. We'll put all that in the comments below. And Rebel Writers, reminder, Thursday, we have our writing room at 11:30 Eastern time. If you are not registered for that Zoom link, just go to www.reneezukin.com and register there. We do need community. We do need accountability in order to get stuff done. So that's what the writers room is all about. All right. Thank you again so much, Julie. It's so good to have you.
So much love. Sending you all so much love. Thanks so much. Have a great day.
Thanks.